All right, so our next performer is going to be Havish, who is going to announce his piece and all that. If you can unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm going to be playing Thenmadurai.
All right, so that was Havish performing Thenmadurai. Got some virtual claps from everyone. All right, cool. So I'm going to start the poll, and then we'll go from there. Oh, and quick question, was this a draft performance, or was it a...
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. That'll just determine
draft.
that just determines what poll I send out. Okay. So you guys can start filling out the poll, and if you have any verbal feedback, you can just raise your hands. And yeah, Matt, if you want to go ahead.
So there were some parts in the piece that I thought were way too heavy, and I thought those parts should be loud, but they shouldn't be like that exactly heavy because didn't make it as melodic as it was supposed to be. And then I think you can work on your camera positioning.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with those points. Should we get one more person? Anyone? Well, actually, let me ask first. Does anyone else have any verbal feedback to give? No. Okay. How about Sophie? if you want to go ahead.
Your your pulse was good. You didn't go too slow or too fast, I think. Sorry, I can't think of anything right now.
All right, that's good. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's coordinate is equal to 120. That's the metronome marking. So yeah, that's probably about right. So we have 3 out of 5 responses on the poll. So I'll give you guys another 10 seconds to kind of fill that out, get that in, and then we'll go over that. All right. Closing up the poll in 10, 9, 6, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So sharing the results of the poll now. So yeah, so on rhythm, you got 1 vote for 3 and 1 vote for, and 2 votes for 4. Yeah, your rhythm was pretty good. It was pretty clean for the most part. So I don't think there were any issues or anything that I really have to point out on that. So good job on that. In terms of the notes, you got 1 vote for 3 and 2 votes for 4. I didn't hear any issues with notes so far as I could tell. Notes and rhythms were pretty clean. I think it's more in the subtle details that we kind of can dive into a little bit more. Pulse. So 3, you got 1 vote for 3 and 1 vote for, and 2 votes for 4. Yeah, that's what I think the biggest thing to probably work on would be pulse. It wasn't majorly, there wasn't any like major issues with the pulse, I would say. But there were a few moments where it felt like it was kind of speeding up, slowing down. It wasn't quite super steady. And that's all right. That's very natural to happen. But I think just kind of giving attention to a little bit of that, and that might help with especially since there's a lot of various syncopated rhythm going on in the piece. Having that remain very steady as much, well, not very steady, but like as steady as you can keep it, I think would be super important. So I think just bringing some attention to it. It was good overall, but I think like just within the small detail to kind of look at. Dynamics, you got 2 votes for 3 and 1 vote for 4. And in terms of dynamics, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing to work on. Since we have a 14 in the beginning and then kind of mezzo piano throughout, it felt a little bit top heavy. So maybe like as you're going through it, bring in some other dynamics, expanding your dynamic range, as well as going into the lower dynamic range. So maybe introducing some softer dynamics as well, and deciding how you want to shape the overall melody and the piece through it dynamically overall. So kind of figure out what your dynamic curve is going to be throughout. Will be super important with this piece. And then on the last part, articulation, you got 1 vote for 2, 1 vote for 3, and 1 vote for 4. So it's kind of a little bit all over the board. Articulation was pretty good, but I would say that there are a few sections where it felt a little bit muddy. I'm not sure if that was an overpedaling thing, or if it was kind of how you're playing it. So I would say just in terms of a goal for clarity, just take some notice to if you're using the pedal, that you're not using the pedal too much, and that also going with I think Matt's comment on balance, just making sure that you kind of have that left hand, right hand balance out, and that you're making sure that each note is very clear in the articulation of how it's played, whether it's legato or more towards like a drier staccato sound. All right. Awesome.